Hello, I'm Laura Kenny. I'm here today with OK magazine to reveal that I'm having a little boy. So with this pregnancy, I actually found out just as I got off an aeroplane on the way to Mallorca. I just felt really weird on the plane, like really sick. And I thought, I'm just going to get a test. The only thing was, obviously, because it was in Mallorca, the test didn't come in English, so I had to Google Translate whether it was positive or negative in the toilet. Obviously, for me, Mallorca last year was a place where I guess I didn't really have that great association with. It was where I was working at the time when I actually had my first miscarriage. So for it to be almost exactly a year later to find out happy news, it was mixed emotions because it was a place that I hadn't been back to, but I was just so happy that obviously this time it was happy rather than the news that I had last year. So this pregnancy started off the same as the other one with my little boy Albie, where I was like, I'm going to sail through this, no problem. And then I started just feeling a little bit sick, and then I came out like the other side about 14, 15 weeks. But then just a couple of weeks ago, so I was weak, I must have been 18, 19, I just couldn't stop being sick. And I had that for 4 days solid. But I am hoping that I am now through the other side of that. So we found out the gender because I was put under high risk initially, and basically my midwife suggested that I go and have the blood test done where it can tell you things like how your placenta are performing like later on in your pregnancy. And so I had it, and they asked, would you like to know the gender when you get your results back? And to be honest, at the time I didn't feel that bothered, and I just sort of was like, yeah. And then it wasn't until I got the email that I was like, we're actually going to find out what we're having. I don't think my little boy Albie would have forgiven me if it had been anything other than a little baby brother for him. All he's asked for since we've been asking him, do you want a brother or a sister, is a little baby brother. I mean, to be honest, he wants it to come out at 5 years old, but he's just so happy that he's going to be a big brother to a little brother. I mean, for me, it was really overwhelming in actually announcing the pregnancy itself. I think because of everything that had happened, it felt really scary, and it just seemed like a really big deal to be putting it out there again. And I was also coming from a place where I didn't want anyone to feel sad like I had reading other people's pregnancy announcements. So I took a lot of kind of care and time in actually wording that post. But since putting it out there, it's just been incredible again. Just like the way when I announced the ectopic and the miscarriage, where everyone felt like they surrounded me with like love and these really kind of caring messages. I've had the exact same response since announcing, I guess, our happy ending. Yeah, I think for me, I underestimated how I was going to feel when we fell pregnant again. Like, you want that feeling. I wanted that positive pregnancy test so badly. But when I actually got it, I didn't have this kind of happy tears. I didn't have that at all. I mean, to start with, I was shocked. And then after that, I spent a good, probably until 12 weeks of just pretending it wasn't happening, and just sort of, I didn't want to talk about it. So my mum and dad and Jason's mum and dad knew, but they couldn't talk to me about it. I just didn't want any association because of, if it did go the way it went last time, I would just have so much sadness again, and I just didn't want that. So for me, it was almost like pretending it wasn't happening. I also followed lots of pregnancies after loss accounts on Instagram, which I guess kind of helped because it meant I could read stories of how other people were feeling, and it was completely the same as me. Like the sense of, you were scared, you're panicking at every moment, every little kind of twitch, every time you go to the toilet. And so for me, it was comforting reading that actually how I was feeling was really how lots of people feel after they've had a loss. I mean, Albie is just so excited, bless him. I mean, we tested him a little bit because we actually told him first. And I thought, is he going to go in and basically tell his whole class? And apparently he'd gone in and told his teacher that he was going to be a big brother. Luckily, he didn't actually say he was having a little brother, because I said, how did you word it? And he'd said, I'm going to be a big brother. But it wasn't until parents' evening that the teachers had asked, so she too kept it quiet because she was like, she definitely hasn't announced it, so I don't know whether he's wrong or whether they've already told him. So it was quite cute actually, bless him, but he just seemed really excited. For me, honestly, this whole process has just been made easier by the fact that Jace is so supportive for everything. So if I come in and I say, look, I want to book another scan, then he just says yes. Or if he thinks, making me feel better about the house, like if there's something that I want and he feels like I shouldn't be doing it. He's been doing it for me. Or like if I've been really ill, he's just been taking over. He's just making the whole process seamless. And it's funny because to me, Jay seems like this kind of laid back character that doesn't really care about too much, I guess. And lots of people who know him would say that. But when it's come to all of this, to be honest, like all of these experiences that we've had, he's just been great support considering he's going through it too. Because I think lots of people forget that. Like as much as it's been happening to my body and it's me that's been going through it, obviously he has an emotional attachment to it too. And so for someone to be able to go through all of that and support me, I think he's just been incredible. So the only craving I've really had, and I wouldn't say it's a craving, it's more of an obsession, is with crisps. And I think it's the savoury / the salt, because obviously I was sick and then you're dehydrated, and like just mini cheddars are just like, I'm obsessed with mini cheddars. So when I say, it's the same as with Albie, so when I say that I'm training, it's exercise. I would never class it as training because it's nowhere near as intense or as extreme as when I'm training for like the World Championships or the Olympics. So I am exercising on a daily basis, but again, like I say, it's the same as when I was having Albie. It's just far more relaxed, and you know, if I am having a bad day, if I am tired or if I am sick, I just miss it. Like I'm really listening to my body. I mean, with the Olympics, obviously once I give birth, it's going to be a year to go. And I mean, I know that that's a tight turnaround, but I just think never say never. And I know it seems mad to say that, but you never know, do you? I didn't know after Albie that I'd come back and be able to be Olympic champion again. So maybe I can come back and go to another one. I think for me, I read so many stories about people's happy endings, and I'm just hoping that my story can just add to that and can just give everyone else who has either had a miscarriage or an ectopic the kind of hope that you're searching for, that you may have to wait. Like this is 9 months. I fell pregnant 9 months after my ectopic, and you do have to be patient, but eventually you will get your happy ending.